All right, it is about that time that we do another YouTube boxing tier list. I figured this is the best time to put together a good tier list. I want to put like champions, contenders, up and coming, people who are at the end of the road. I wanted to make it as close to a actual tier list when it comes to fighting like you would see in boxing or in MMA. The only difficult thing now is because we have more people is the weight classes, right? You have people at the top of the list that we know are going to be the top of the list, the Jake Paul, Logan Paul's, KSI. But these guys are not small guys. So it's tough to see where guys fit in like Adam Sala or Jarvis or Gibb. Because Gibb had to go up to fight Jake. He's not going to fight Logan, right? There's just some fights that aren't possible because of the weight classes. In all combat sports, you have people who are at the king or at the queen or the top of their weight class, right? It's hard to be the one person if there's going to be, weight classes. So not legit enough for it to be something where the weight classes will become that important, because even when we look at our recent events, even looking at the recent events, all we care about is that they're close in weight. It's not like we see people as top contenders in their weight class. We're just kind of like going off their name, their notoriety, their ability, and then are they fighting someone at least within a close range to make it fair? So it makes it tricky when breaking this down, but I'm gonna do the best that I can. I'm trying to use only people that I think could either be a main or co-main event. Before we start though, I want to weigh myself. I want to see where I'm at. Well, damn. Okay. I'm a heavyweight right now. The scale said 196 pounds. I've been trying to put on some weight for American football. But if I were to box, I would have to come down a little bit because I want to be lean. I want to be able to stay on my toes. All right, so we got champions, contenders, people who can fight the champions. Then we have up and coming, guys who could fight the contenders, guys who we think are like one legitimate win away from being right there in the mix. Then we got the middle of the pack, the people who have made some noise with a good win or two could be right in there. And then we have people at the end of the road, people who kind of put up a good fight, we're not sure about, we don't know how they can compete, they haven't won yet, things like that. I'm gonna mix these around first. Okay, here we go. First, we got your boy FaZe Temper, Tommy Tomas. He just won. Where does he fit in the mix? Okay, I'm not going to go just based off ability. I'm trying to put them in correct order based off where they could compete right now. It was his first fight, no head guards, and it went a full 5 rounds, and they looked in great shape. They didn't look super tired. Tommy did not look super tired at the end of the fight. That's the other part I wanted to do here. I try to pick guys who I know who are taking it seriously. I know there's some people that I left off, but some of the fights just didn't look like a boxing match. So I'm trying to pick people who are going to take the sport seriously. Temper. I'm not sure he can get a fight with Jake right away, right? We have to see him beat like a Slim or maybe Gibb right there. So, man. Right now, I'm going to put him up and coming just because he just won this fight right on the edge. If there was like an in-between or right on the edge of contender, I can see him being there. All right, next we got Jarvis. One via KO, very vicious. That was a professional fight as well. His skill is growing. I think he's someone who could fight Gibb, right? Alex, Deji. Easily fight any one of those people. Adam Sala. I can't put him in contender yet. I got to put him up and coming as well. Both of these guys so far are like right there about to be contenders. Salt Poppy, super skilled guy. I don't know, does he go up and coming? His opponent wasn't anything crazy, right? So we didn't see him be super challenged during the fight, but he really outclassed him. Like, I don't know if it was big enough. The moment was big enough. He's closer to my weight, so it's like we could fight. Up and coming. I don't know. I'm going to put him middle of the pack just because ability-wise, right, he can go anywhere based off his performance so far. No, you know what? This is tough. I got to put him up and coming. Oh, me. Okay, I'm at the end of the road, guys. Sorry. I sort of am at the end of the road. Obviously, I've won, but I haven't competed in a long time. But my name is in the mix. I did try to get on this last event. I guess up and coming. I'm not going to say contender because I haven't competed. KSI, obviously, champion. Whoever he wants to fight, he gets to fight, right? He's on the top. He doesn't have to fight other champions right now. He can fight contenders or up and coming people. We got we did JJ and Jeddy back to back. That was by accident. Deji's at the end of the road, right? He hasn't won yet. There are a couple losses, a loss or away, a bad performance away from that being it. And Deji was already there, I think, coming into this fight because of everything he had to overcome. Even though he's progressing, that's why I don't want to go based off skill here. He's progressing as a fighter, but he's at the end of the road in terms of where he fits in the competition of the YouTube boxing scene. Arms and Minicon. I put them together because no one wants to fight these guys. right? They're giant guys. I thought Minicon won. If one of these guys won via vicious KO, right? I think they can immediately go to like contenders because then they're big enough to fight Logan. Who else do you fight at that? I gotta put him in the middle of the pack, but here again, middle of the pack, but they're at the top of their weight class. They're the only guys. Do they just have a rematch and fight again with smaller gloves? Next, we got Bryce Hall, right? He lost to Austin McBroom. I was thinking of putting him middle of the pack, but he's got to be end of the road along with Deji. Even though he's only fought once, he lost via TKO. I'm only putting him in here because he's still in the boxing community mix. He's still in talks of wanting to fight. No, next we got Austin McBroom. Now we got a contender. He won via TKO. Big name guy. We can see fighting JJ or Jake. Taylor Holder, right? Lost to Gibb. Was overturned from a draw. He had a lot of potential because I know he was smaller and they used bigger gloves, but he didn't really throw a lot. He wasn't super aggressive in the fight. So where does that put Taylor? I don't put him at the end of the road. He's not really in the YouTube mix, but because he looked sharp and he didn't get finished like a TKO, he didn't really get hurt either. I got to put him in the middle of the pack. Can't put him up and coming, but he's above Bryce and above Dead. Next we got Jake, obviously champion, and part of me wants to put him even above just because of what he's been able to do, how active he's been, the names that he has on his resume. Tyron Woodley fight, I forgot that he beat him twice. I know Woodley took that fight on short notice, but still, he was rocked in that first fight, so he fought someone who was quite dangerous, and then he fought the same guy again. And I even thought if Woodley's going to be, he knows what Jake's going to do, caught him worse. So that's even more impressive in my opinion. Next, we got Logan. Obviously is the champion. Logan has only fought KSI and Floyd Mayweather. How can you put someone in champions who's lost? He's only fought the guy who hasn't lost in KSI, who's the champion. Fought Floyd Mayweather and landed punches on Floyd Mayweather. And no one else even on this list can say they, even sparred with Floyd hard rounds and survived, let alone fought Floyd and survived and landed some real punches on Floyd Mayweather, who's arguably the GOAT. Like just that alone. Next, we got Alex Wasabi. He had his first fight and he beat Deji, someone who's at the end of the road. Now he's in the talks of fighting people like Gibb, people like KSI. Tender? No. Got to put him up and coming. If he wins his next fight against somebody who has won a fight, next we got King Kenny. It was somewhat controversial because of the judging, but I don't think it was controversial. I think Tommy won cleanly. But Kenny did show some stuff, right? He looked pretty sharp out there. Like he looked like a boxer. The way he's moving, he got a jab. There was at times where he was wild. I think that's more so because he was fighting Tommy. I was expecting him to look a little bit like JJ at some points because when you're fighting someone that much taller than you, very tough to get on the inside. And when it's your first fight and it's a new fight, it's very difficult to figure out how to bridge the gap and do that smoothly. It's hard to do at a high level, let alone at an early level. Be interesting to see someone Kenny fight someone or see a sparring to see how he does against someone at least his height or maybe when he's taller, right? That does play a big factor. But King Kenny, where does he go? I'm going to put him in the middle of the pack. Can't put him up and coming, but if he does win, he fights somebody else win, he's going to be right there on the up and coming and the contenders. All right, we got Slim. Did beat up Fusi pretty bad. Then he had another fight or two maybe. The people that he fought weren't really in the YouTube mix. Didn't look like they took boxing very seriously. Slim clearly is taking boxing seriously. He's training hard, so he won his fight. Slim I would put in the up and coming because he needs to get that like statement win. He'd have to beat somebody or would be scared of, or someone that you think could actually hurt Slim. Someone on his level. All right, we got Josh Bruckner. He's another one that's like kind of like the Minicon in arms. Even like in that same mix, because he fought on the undercard, but because of his YouTube channel and what he does, his vlogs with his girlfriend, he's not really in our community. He gets kind of forgotten, and because he has a fighting pedigree and a fighting background, people almost see him, I think, like as a fighter more so than a YouTuber. And the truth is, part of that is my fault because we were supposed to fight on the undercard, and obviously it didn't go down. And I know it was a rib injury, and people still to this day think that I just pulled out of the fight because I didn't want to fight him. The thing is, I'm the one who got Josh Bruckner to be an opponent in the first place. Organization and management were asking me to see who I could fight. They did not bring up the name. I brought up the name. I brought Josh Bruckner's name to the table, and then we made that happen. If I didn't want to fight him, I would have never brought his name to the list. I would have said, no, I don't want to fight him. Forget about it. And I think if we fought, depending how that went, that would have changed the landscape, because then it's like, okay, Josh Bruckner and Sensei fought. Now we can really see where myself and him are at in the mix, but he hasn't been able to fight within the community yet, even though he fought in the undercard of KSI and Logan Paul 2. Next, we got Adam Sala. I know he gets a lot of slack because of that fight that was rigged, but Adam has always showed a lot of skill. Right, so for that, I'm going to have to put him... Oh, man. Where do I put him? I'm going to put him in contender because... You know what? I got to put him up and coming. Now we got Gibb. Anisan Gibb. Big Gibber. Easy contender. Could be a champion of his own right in his weight class. I know it stinks because he lost to Jake, but he took that fight even though he had to gain weight to make weight, which is never good. All right, we got Stromedy. I'm going to put him middle of the pack. He's a weird fight. He got quite gassed. He could fight Bryce, Deji, and last we got Vinnie Hacker. I put him in here because he won. I haven't heard too much. I'm not sure if he's in the mix of. He could easily be fighting a lot of these guys in the middle. Alex Wasabi, Slim, Adam, Jarvis, but I can see him fighting Stromedy and Kenny. But because he won, I got to put him up and coming. Now I get to move people. Part of me wants to just move Bruckner down, just because of his. It's hard to put him next to these guys because of just his name. Not ability-wise, of course. I'm not sure he can get a fight with KSI or Logan or Jake, obviously. So I got to put him one down because if he were to have his next fight be a big fight, then he'd be right in the mix to close down on a fight there. Let me know any changes you would make in the comments, right? Would you move anybody up or down, take anybody off? And did I miss anybody? Who did I miss? Anyone should be on this list that I didn't put on there. And hopefully we'll hear some talk soon. I know there's some rumbles about fights going on. There's some talks going on. My phone's been ringing. So hopefully we'll get some more information to you guys soon. Leave a like and subscribe. Oos.